Hi guys. So in the previous video, we discussed about types of organic reactions. So there we discussed about substitutions and addition reactions. Now in this video, we are going to discuss about elimination reactions and rearrangement reactions. Okay, these are the other two types of organic reactions we have. So let's discuss. So coming to the elimination reactions, that is the third type of organic reactions we have. So elimination reactions. So the name itself indicating that we are going to remove. Okay, we are going to remove some elements or small compounds from the organic compound. So that means from substrate molecule, so we are going to remove a small molecule like hydrogen we will remove, or halogens will remove, or hydrogen halide will remove, okay, or water molecule will remove, okay. So in all these cases, we call them as elimination reactions. So in elimination reactions, generally what will happen? So if I have a saturated compound, that saturated compound becomes unsaturated compound. So that means sp3 carbon becomes sp2, and sp2 carbon if I'm having, that will become sp. Okay. So generally whenever I have a sigma bond, so and between the adjacent atoms the elements will be removed, adjacent atoms. Okay. So that means suppose I have adjacent atoms means we generally call them as alpha carbons, and after alpha that is beta carbon. So between this alpha and beta carbons, that elimination will happen. Okay, between alpha and beta carbons, that elimination happened means then we call it as beta elimination. Okay, between alpha and beta, if the elimination happens, then we call it as beta elimination there. Okay, so that beta eliminations generally will happen there. Okay, and whenever elimination reactions are there, so one important thing what we have to remember is we are getting saturated compound becoming unsaturated. No? That means alkane, if I'm taking, that alkane will become alkene. Okay. So that alkene, more stable alkene will be the major product, because in organic reactions, we are not getting a single product anytime. More than one product can produce. Okay. So that's why here, which is the major product in elimination reactions? Means always the stable alkene will be the major product. Stable alkene means we said more substituted alkenes are more stable. So similar, the same will apply here also, right? More substituted alkenes will become more stable. Okay. So simply saying it is a reverse of addition reactions only. Okay. In addition reactions, on the double bond or triple bond, it is small molecules are getting added. So in this reactions, what will happen is here small molecules we are not adding, we are removing it from the substrate molecule. Okay, that is the basic difference. So reverse of addition reactions, you can write that. Next, between two adjacent atoms, generally it will happen. Okay, between two adjacent atoms, it takes place. That elimination takes place. So that means between alpha beta carbons, you can say. So between alpha beta carbons, it is happening, and there it will come as a double bond or triple bond will come. Okay, and that's why this sometimes we call it as beta eliminations also. Okay, beta elimination reactions also sometimes we'll say, because it is happening between alpha and beta. Okay, like I'll give you some examples for this. If I have dibromomethane, okay, 1,2-dibromomethane. 1,2-dibromomethane means ethane, not methane. So this is one, two carbons are there. Here bromine and here bromine I have. Okay. So this I'm heating with zinc. Okay, zinc metal I added to it and I'm heating it. So that time what will happen is here two bromines from adjacent carbons. This bromine and this bromine will come out and that will attach with zinc. So I'll be getting CH, okay, CH2 double bond CH2. So that bromines came out with zinc. So zinc bromide will come. And here what I have done, I removed bromines, halogens I removed. And that's why here this reaction we call it as debromination. Okay, debromination reaction. So simply you can say dehalogenation reaction. So in place of bromine, you can take any of the halogens there. So this kind of reactions where we are removing halogen molecule, Br2 I have removed here. So that's why dehalogenation, debromination is said. Okay. So similarly, if you remove uh, HBr or something like that, HX. Okay. So I'll give you one more example. That is one example. So where we removed bromine from it. That's why debromination is said. Suppose I have a compound like ethyl bromide I have. So CH3, CH2, Br. Okay. So here I'll write this CH3 as CH2H. Okay. So now this I'm heating or this is added with alcoholic KOH. Okay, alcoholic KOH means we need to take alcohol and in that alcohol KOH we have to dissolve. That is called as alcoholic KOH. So that alcoholic KOH what it will do is it will remove hydrogen and bromine. HBr it will remove. So hydrogen bromide is removed, right? So and it will give you again CH2 double bond CH2. Okay. So that hydrogen bromide will be removed from it. So that's why here this particular reaction we call it as dehydrohalogenation. Dehydrohalogenation reaction because I removed hydrogen halide from the compound HBr. Okay, dehydrobromination now you can say. So we removed hydrogen halide from the compound. That's why dehydrohalogenation reaction will be saying it. Okay. So there is another reaction. Here I'm taking now CH3, CH2OH. This is ethyl alcohol. And this I'm heating with copper up to 300 degrees Celsius. Okay, that we are heating. So now what will happen is that compound will lose hydrogen molecule. Okay, so it will become C double bond O and here only one hydrogen will be left. So that means from the carbon one hydrogen lost and from here one hydrogen lost. So overall what happened minus H2. So this is dehydrogenation. Okay, hydrogen you removed, no? So you call it as dehydrogenation. Okay, so dehydrogenation reaction you can say because I removed a hydrogen from it. Okay. Similarly, we'll go with another example. So now I'm taking CH3 CONH2. Okay, this is the compound I'm taking, right? So this I'm heating with phosphorus pentoxide. Phosphorus pentoxide heating. So generally phosphorus pentoxide is a very strong dehydrating agent. Dehydration means removal of water. Okay. So that means from this compound now water molecule will be removed. Okay. And this will produce CH3CN, C triple bond N. So methyl cyanide will come. And here what happened? Water molecule minus H2O happened. Okay, so that's why this particular process, we call it as dehydration. Dehydration reaction. Hydra means water. Dehydration means a removal of water. Okay, so this is dehydration reaction, right? So in all these cases, what happened? Between the adjacent atoms, okay, from the adjacent atoms, we removed a small molecule, like hydrogen we removed, or water molecule we removed. Okay, so like that it happened. From adjacent atoms, we removed. So there are certain reactions where from the same atom, okay, from the same atom, we are going to remove it. Okay, we are removing the molecule. From the same atom, that molecule will be removed. In that case, we call it as alpha elimination reactions. Okay, so let us write that. Alpha elimination. Beta elimination means from the adjacent atoms, if you are removing the atoms, uh, then we call it as beta elimination. Alpha elimination means so two atoms or groups we are removing from the same carbon. Okay, so removal of two atoms or groups from the same carbon atom, from the same carbon atom of the substance. Okay, so these kind of reactions are called as alpha eliminations. Okay, let's see an example. So I have a compound like chloroform I have. Okay, chloroform means we are having CHCl3. Okay, this is chloroform. So when it is treated with OH minus ion, okay, OH minus ion is added to it, right? So that OH minus ion is added to it, then OH minus ion where it will attack means it will attack on hydrogen. Okay, so that will attack on hydrogen there. So it will take out hydrogen from the molecule. And at the same time, when hydrogen is removed, immediately this chlorine also will get out. It will come out from the element, from the compound. Okay, so immediately chlorine with that sigma bond, it will come out as Cl minus ion. So finally, what I'm getting in this case, I'll get a carbene. Okay, dichlorocarbene, I'll get here, right? So along with that water molecule, because OH minus ion attached to H plus and Cl minus ion separately comes. So this particular reaction comes under alpha elimination because now two atoms removed from the compound. Okay, that is hydrogen and chlorine. So I'm both of them are from the same carbon itself. Okay, so this kind of reactions are called as alpha eliminations. Okay, alpha elimination reactions you can say, right? So these are alpha eliminations we can say. Next, if you are removing elements from alpha and gamma, okay, from alpha and gamma from alpha carbon and gamma carbon, if you are removing, then we call it as gamma elimination. Okay, so gamma elimination, let's see now. So I'm going with gamma elimination. So that means now what we do is we'll eliminate two atoms or groups from alpha and gamma positions. Okay, so here removal of two atoms or groups, two atoms or groups from alpha and gamma positions. Okay, from alpha and gamma positions, we are going to remove it. Okay, not the adjacent atoms. Okay, So alpha gamma positions will check. So suppose I have a compound like this. So let's go with an example. So this is the compound I'm having now, CH2, CH2, Br, and this side one more CH2, Br I have. So that means it is 1,3-dibromopropane. Okay, 1,3-dibromopropane. So this I'm heating with zinc dust. Okay, zinc dust I'll add and I'll heat it. Okay, so that time again similarly bromine atoms will be lost from here and here. So now if I go with any of the atoms, so suppose if I say this is alpha, then it will become beta and this will be the gamma. Okay, so from alpha and gamma positions it is removed. Okay, so now finally what I'll get here, I'll get a cyclopropane now. Okay, CH2, and here one more CH2, and here another CH2. So between them bond will come. So this is cyclopropane I'm getting. And that bromine removed will come out as zinc bromide. Okay. So this kind of reactions are called as gamma elimination reactions. Okay. Uh, right. So this is how we can tell about the elimination reactions. Now after elimination reactions, now we have rearrangement reactions. Okay, that is the fourth type of organic reactions, rearrangement reactions. So that means we are not adding anything or we are not removing anything here in the organic compound. So what we do is we'll just there will be a change in migration of atoms will be there or migration of groups will be there. So just a bondings, okay, the atoms or groups will shift from one atom to another atom. Okay, that kind of reactions are called as rearrangement reactions. And we'll see some of the reactions here. So here, these reactions, here we can write like this, involves migration of an atom or group. Okay, it may be a single atom migrating from one place to another place or a group from one site to another site. Okay, from one site to another site within the molecule. Okay, within the same molecule, it should happen. So between the molecules, it won't happen. In the same molecule, it will happen there. So there is no addition we are doing and no elimination we are doing. Okay, so all the atoms will remain there only, but their bonding will be changing now. Okay, the bonds will change. Okay, so I'll give you some of the examples for it. I have N-butane, okay, CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. This is N-butane I have. And this when it is heated with anhydrous AlCl3. Okay, anhydrous AlCl3. What is this anhydrous? Anhydrous means there should not be any moisture with it. Okay, if moisture is there, it won't give the reaction. Okay, aluminum chloride. So anhydrous aluminum chloride only you have to take. So that anhydrous aluminum chloride is added and we are heating it. So that time this is N-butane. No? That N-butane will give you isobutane. That means its isomer will come. Chain isomer will be done. So CH3 and here CH3 will come here. So one of the methyl groups now what happened? It is shifted. One of the methyl groups is shifted its position there. So that is what happened there. Okay. So that hydrogen is replaced with methyl group. That hydrogen came outside. So this is just a simple rearrangement. Normal chain is converted into iso. This is isobutane, you can say. So this is one rearrangement. or simply you can call it as isomerization also, because normal chain converted into isomeric chain. So you can simply call it as isomerization reaction also, because normal chain converted into isomeric chain. So this reaction isomerization. So similarly, if I go with 1 butene, okay, so I'm going with 1 butene now. So 1 butene means CH3CH2, then CH double one CH2. This is 1 butene. Okay, so again, this is heated with same aluminum chloride anhydrous. Okay, even aluminum sulfate also you can use. Okay, in that case, now the double bond position will change. That means I'll be getting 2 butene now. Okay, so this is 2 butene. So initially I took 1 butene, now it is changed to 2 butene. So 1 butene is taken and 2 butene will become. And at the same time, you can also get the isomeric alkene, like 2-methyl propene also you can get. So this is also another rearrangement it can happen. Okay, so that methyl group will shift to this carbon, right? So this also can happen. Okay, this you can say 2-methyl propene. Right, so this is another reaction we have, and there is one more example I'll give you. That is like ammonium cyanate. Okay, NH4CNO. This is called as ammonium cyanate. So this ammonium cyanate, simple heating we will be doing. Okay, so just heating will do. This ammonium cyanate will then it will convert into NH2CO NH2. That means that there is a rearrangement taken place. So now it becomes urea. Okay, ammonium cyanate after rearrangement becomes urea. So that is also one of the important examples we have. So similarly, I'll give you another example. Okay, like I have phenyl acetate. Okay, this is benzene ring, phenyl ring. You can say here oxygen is there, CO CH3. This is called phenyl acetate. Okay, so an ester. So this phenyl acetate. Okay, we'll write the name phenyl acetate. So when this phenyl acetate is heated with, again same reagent I'm using, anhydrous aluminum chloride I'm using here. Okay, or else this when it is heated with anhydrous aluminum chloride, so what will happen is this group acyl group is an acetyl group, that CH3CO group will shift to the ortho and para positions. Okay, that acetyl group will be shifting towards ortho and para positions. So you'll be getting ortho hydroxy, ortho and para hydroxy acetophenone. Okay, so that means now what I'll get is, so here that bond is broken, no, it will come out as OH, and that COCH3, that COCH3 part will attach to this ortho position, or else it can attach to the para position also. Okay, that means now I'm getting ortho or para hydroxy acetophenone. Okay, so here OH and here C double bond O CH3. So these are ortho or para. Okay, ortho and para hydroxy both. Okay, both will be coming. Ortho and para hydroxy acetophenone we got. And this particular reaction is having a name which is also known as Friese rearrangement. Okay, Friese rearrangement we'll say it. Okay. So phenyl acetate, when it is heated with anhydrous aluminum chloride, It is becoming ortho and para hydroxyacetophenone. Okay. And this particular reaction, we call it as freeze rearrangement. Okay. Similarly, I'll give another example for rearrangement reactions. Like I'm going with a normal N-propyl bromide. Okay. So that means CH3, CH2, CH2Br. Okay. 1-bromopropane or N-propyl bromide. So this I'm heating with aluminum bromide. Okay. Again, anhydrous. Whenever aluminum halide we are using, anhydrous compounds only we have to use. Okay. Otherwise they don't function. So if a moisture is there, that moisture will fill up the octet and later it won't react. If there is no moisture, it will remain as electron deficient compound, and that can give the reaction. Okay, that can bring the reaction there. So now when it is reacting with anhydrous aluminum bromide, so this will become 2-bromopropane. That means that bromine position is changing now. Now it is shifted to this carbon. Okay, 2-bromopropane, or you can say isopropyl bromide also. Okay. So one more important example I'll give you. Okay, for rearrangement. Suppose I have a compound. This compound is there. Okay, C double bond and OH. Okay, and here one more methyl group. And this particular compound we call it as acetoxime. Okay, so this particular compound is known as acetoxime, and when it is heated with PCl5, okay, or when it is reacting with PCl5, so it will convert into CH3 NH COCH3. Okay, so what is this compound means? N-methyl acetamide. Okay, this is called N-methyl acetamide. So acetoxime converted into N-methyl acetamide. Okay, oxime converted into amide. So there also just simple rearrangement. Okay, it is a simple rearrangement taken place. Okay, so that rearrangement reaction. So this particular reaction, it is called as Beckmann rearrangement. Okay, Beckmann rearrangement will say. Okay, so there are some important rearrangements we have. Among those, two rearrangements already here we got. So Freeze rearrangement and Beckmann rearrangement. Okay, so these are the different types of organic reactions, basic types of organic reactions we have.